Welcome everyone to the Lakeshow Talk Show. It's your boy Dom. I'm here with Briss,
Hey,
Josie, and we're about to go into it with the Jordan docu-series. I know everybody's seen it. Everybody's going crazy over at ESPN. Everybody's talking about it. A lot of stuff that we've never seen. We're young guys. We've never seen that before. So let's get into it, man. Let's go. Let's go for it. Let's go for it. Let's start off with Scottie Pippen, man. I mean, the whole contract thing, management, how everything went down. Josie, let's start with you, man. What was your take on all that?
Man, my take is Scottie got played, and Jordan would have won those rings without Scottie, and he did not get paid. I know what some people are saying. Hey, Scottie signed that contract, but you know what, man? Some of these guys come into the league, and if you listen to that series, if you really paid attention, and it introduced Pippen's background a little bit, you would have understood, or you could have sympathized as to why he signed that contract. You know,
Right.
he had his whole family he was thinking of. He just wanted to make sure that those that he cared for were taken care of. And he knew that he could get hurt. He knew other things happened, right? He thought he was making the right move, right? But he signed a long-term deal, a seven-year deal, I believe.
yeah.
Yeah, 7 year, 18 mil.
Yeah, and I get that, right? Guys honor their contracts and whatnot, but they could have renegotiated that contract. They were winning those chips, and they wouldn't have won those chips without him. I feel like if you really cared at that point as in management, if you appreciated your players and their value, you would have realized, hey, Scottie signed that contract, yes. He should honor it, yes. But you know what? He signed that contract. He didn't know how big the franchise was going to grow, the value that it was going to grow to. He didn't know how good he would develop. He just wanted to keep his family, his people safe.
And it shows a lot of character with him sticking through it through all those championship years. He could have left.
Yeah, he could have left. It shows so much character. And you know what? Yes, he signed that contract, but you have to understand why. You have to understand why he signed that contract, right? So I feel like as management, as the owner of the Bulls or Jerry Krause, they should have seen that. They should have respected that, and then they should have given him his due. You know, they should have realized, hey, this guy is helping us get championships. Let's help him out. He signed this not knowing what we were going to be worth, how far we would go.
Right.
Or he didn't know his full potential yet. So let us help him out.
I think we got a little disagreement here. What you got, Briss?
Are you done? Like with the?
You go ahead.
Are you done with the nice guy? This is about how, as a player, you got to get paid right away, right? You see that? I understand that part, right? We understand that Scottie Pippen ended up being, at the end of the day, right, one of the best players in the league for that team to win those rings, right? But if an owner tells you, do not sign this contract because it's over so many years, right? In your head, right? I understand he had to take care of his family, right? But at that time, people were taking 4-year contracts, 5-year contracts, and getting more. You have to think of yourself, right? You get that rookie contract. We know it expires. It's what? Usually, typically 4?
It was 4 years. He was on a 4-year rookie contract.
Right. Okay. Then you think of it, where are you at in the league? Let's be honest. He wasn't he was probably top or mid-table at that point, right? Going to the Bulls. Or am I wrong on this part? When he got traded from the Supersonics to the Bulls, he was probably mid-table. Expected.
Oh, well, he got traded at the draft day.
Right, but as like him expecting to go into the league, he was like a mid-table player. He wasn't thought to be the Scottie Pippen.
No, of course, nobody knew.
But,
well, he was drafted 5th overall, so I mean, I'm sure that they had high hopes for him.
They had high hopes for him, but I'm saying going into that round, others didn't know. You know, he didn't go to a big school.
Right.
But you have to think of it like this, right? As the owner, and let's be honest, those guys, they're going to look for the best business deal that they can. But if he's telling you don't take a contract, today if an owner is telling a player to not take a contract, how many of those players would still sign it? Probably none of them. Almost none of them.
Okay.
Let me give my take. You cool, Briss? Let me jump in here real quick. I'm going to have to take Briss's side, man.
Let me take one more thing, right?
All right, go ahead.
right? Scotty was selfish in that last season. I mean, we get it. He wanted to get paid, but you signed that contract, and then he got surgery right at the beginning of the season, right? Hey, that summer before, even before you were hurt, you should have went to the owner. You should have went to the GM. Hey, I know I'm in the last season of this contract, but we got to negotiate it now. Like, there's no reason to wait. I mean, when you think you deserve money and people on ESPN are saying, like, you're the 122nd player paid, highest paid player, I'm going to the front office and I'm getting my money. Like, there's no question about it. But that's
okay. Well, here we go. As usual, you guys didn't do your homework, so I'm gonna come in, drop you with the facts. All right. So I did my research, and Scottie Pippen actually pushed for this new contract extension. He was only in the league for 2 years. He was still on his rookie contract. He pushed for this contract extension. He thought he deserved to get paid more, which is cool, right? Everybody's trying to get that money. And originally, I found out it was a 5-year deal for the 18 mil, but because he still had the 2 years on his rookie contract, they added those 2 years onto this deal, making it 7 years, 18 mil. And his agent, the owner, everybody was telling him, don't sign it. Like, this is like not a good deal at all. It's too long of a term. Like, it doesn't make sense. And I get him wanting to, have money in the long run, this and that. But to me, it was just stupid doing a longer term. You could have did it for a shorter term or renegotiated, did something. I thought it was a dumb part on his end. And gosh, I lost my train of thought for a second. But no. But it didn't make sense. But at the time, he was the 16th highest paid player in the NBA at that time of signing the contract. So it was a good deal in his head, I guess, right? But throughout time, as we know, like, Bird and Magic put the NBA on the map. And then when the Bulls came out, they just elevated that. And they're the ones who started collecting all those TV deals. So I don't like Scotty's decision of signing the contract, but it is management's fault because now you got all these TV deals because of Scottie Pippen. Like, he's a major reason. Like, him and the Bulls helped give it all these TV deals. And you're going to be there, a stingy white owner, and not give him his money. Like, he wants to renegotiate and get money. And he could have left a long time ago. You could have never had those 6 rings. Like, can we be honest? I don't think Jordan would have had the 6 rings without Scottie Pippen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's my take on it. I mean, it was a dumb decision signing the contract, but it's also effed up from management for not giving him the renegotiation that he deserves.
Yeah. You know what? Like, I won't deny, like, it was dumb. It was dumb for him to sign it, right? There's no doubt about that. But we have to understand why he made that decision. I'm saying he made that decision with good intent. He did with good intent. He's like he's like, say, like a middle-aged man that is hoping to retire, but like be well off. He's gonna retire. He doesn't want to worry about different payments, but he doesn't want to jump into, like, he's looking for financial financial options for himself, right?
Right.
He doesn't want to risk getting more money, even though there's more money, right? So he wants to get something that will just have like a fixed rate, and he's going to get his money back. It's safe.
Right, because, I mean, he had his dad and his brother both in wheelchairs. He wanted to take care of his family, big family.
He went for the safe deal. He did not bet on himself. He didn't bet on himself.
No, yeah, he didn't take the risk. He didn't want to take the risk.
He went safe. So, yes, he has, like, that's on him. Yes, that is on him. I agree. It was dumb. Right. It was short-sighted, and he did not bet on himself. I don't think he believed enough in himself. But that's another discussion, right? But he did help bring those rings. He did help lift the NBA along with the Bulls, along with Jordan, right? Jordan could not have done it with him. He couldn't have. He didn't before. Jordan, just before Scottie came, right? And they showed it in the series when they went up against the Celtics, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Jordan was scoring. Man, he was going off every single game. Every single game. He was going off. Crazy numbers. Crazy. Insane.
And Jordan actually said it, too, in the docuseries. You can't mention Michael Jordan without Scottie Pippen. So,
Yeah. No doubt. That's what I'm saying. Jordan would have been that guy. You know who it reminds me of? and I'm not trying to compare them. They're not the same. They're not the same level of player. But look at James Harden putting up all those crazy numbers, right? Crazy numbers, crazy scoring numbers, right? Man, that guy's never gonna win a chip. He's never gonna win a chip.
And you know what, Briss? Back to the
that would have been Jordan. Jordan would have
Right.
been a guy that could score 50, 60, 70 on you. Yeah? 70 is a little high. But you know what I'm saying, right? He could put down those numbers. He could be the most intimidating player in the league. But was he going to win a chip? He wasn't going to win a chip. And I'm saying now it's bullshit that you're saying that those like that owner went on this series and said, hey, I told him not to sign. Well, hey, if you told him not to sign and he signed, and then a couple years later, you guys are making all this money,
right?
It's the big reason for it. Then compensate him. Just renegotiate.
He's being greedy. He's being greedy.
Being greedy, and he's trying to make that owner was trying to make himself look better. Hey, I told him not to do it. I told him to do it.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate.
It's your fucking team. It's your fucking team. So renegotiate the contract.
Hey, PG, we got kids out here.
Explosivity.
Hey, so
go ahead, Briss.
What? I'm gonna play devil's advocate, right? This isn't my view. I still believe it's on Scotty, but let's say we're in the chairs of a front office, right? What are you gonna try to do at the end of the day? You're gonna try and find the best players for the cheapest price if they sign. That is your exact job as a GM or a owner. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. But at the end of the day, I mean, Scotty could have left. He could have left your ass.
Right.
He could have demanded a trade.
But then the job of, as they said in the docuseries, I mean, it's gonna be hard to replace Scottie Pippen, right?
Right.
But their job is to find new talent who is able to fit in that team. And for those,
and you know what, Jerry Krause was pretty good at that. And it's kind of hard because with his death, he can't defend himself. There, like in the docuseries, the owner Reinsdorf is seeming like a good guy. Like he's putting all the blame on Jerry Krause, and I'm like, that's messed up. To go back to the injury, what you're talking about, how Pippen should have got in the summer, and I say, you know what, I thought it was a good idea for him that he was really throwing it to management, saying like, you know what, I'm gonna wait till the season, and because you guys aren't treating me the way I feel like I should be treated. And with Jordan saying he was selfish, like, no, Jordan don't have no opinion on that, dude, because Jordan was getting paid $30 million that year and the year before, and he was only getting that much money because they got a great deal on Pippen. They didn't have to pay Pippen as much, so they had money to put on Jordan. So how is Jordan going to say it was selfish of Scotty not to be doing that? I'm like, come on, dude.
Hey, you're right on the money part, right? But we've been on sports teams, right? If you're going and you're getting paid now at that level, right?
Right.
Wouldn't you want a heads up? At least like, hey, man, I get it. You want your check. What are you going to do? So I know and prepare myself to be able to go do what I got to do. Right? I think what Jordan was saying, it's selfish because there was but
they knew. But they knew. I heard interviews of Steve Kerr. They knew that Scotty wasn't gonna play in the beginning of that season.
It was rumors. They asked Jordan if he's talking to Pippen. He said no.
Yeah, but I'm saying I've seen interviews and they asked Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr said they knew he was gonna play at the beginning of that season. They knew going into it. No, I'm saying that interview that you saw in the series was during that time.
Right.
Was like in the moment. He was
right.
Yeah, like Jordan wasn't gonna throw him on the bus.
I mean,
and what's his name respected his decision, Phil Jackson, because Phil was in the same boat. He was trying to get more money too, and they're like undercutting him as well.
Yeah.
Right. Can we get to that topic too, or are we wrapped up on this, or do you guys have final thoughts on that? Because I want to get to Phil Jackson and how that is a messed up situation too.
You guys want to switch gears? Let's switch gears and then let's get into like Krause and the GM and everything. How everything went down.
Yeah, there's something interesting that you said, Dom, and I think that people, because of how the series is laid out, because of who's being interviewed, and because we're not hearing Jerry Krause's side of it, right? He's being painted like this big villain. Yeah. Hey, we all have egos. We all have pride. We all experience jealousy.
You have the same one. You have short man syndrome. But carry on.
Hey, I'm just saying. I'm just saying though. Everybody
get them.
Everybody has their thing, right? Everybody does. But you know what? Not everybody is put on blast like this. Not everyone's put on blast like Jerry Krause is.
True.
And the man can't even defend himself. Hey, did he fuck up? Yeah, fucked up. Could he have done things better? Sure, he could have. But you know what? At the end of the day,
He did a good job.
at the end of he built him. He got Phil. He discovered Phil, right?
Right. Yeah, he brought Phil as an assistant coach.
He discovered Pippen.
He traded to get Pippen. He knew about Pippen. He traded to get him. He got Horace Grant that same year.
Yeah.
Yep.
He made that trade happen, right? And then the other thing is that at the end of the day, I don't think it was his final say. He had a huge part to play in it, right? But you know what? He was not the owner of that team.
Right.
And I feel like that's the owner of that team is like he comes up a couple times in the series, right? But I think that's intentional. Yeah. That's intentional. We put so much focus was put on Krause in the documentary, on Jordan, and on Pippen. And when in the beginning of that first episode, when they're talking about the management problems, right? About the organizational problems, that's all put on Krause. That's all put on Krause. But you know what? Man, I don't think enough we don't put enough responsibility on the owner's shoulders.
Right.
Yeah.
It's his overall decision. You know
I think he should have taken more heat. And because Jerry Krause isn't alive, we can't hear his point of view. And we're forgetful of the owner. He's just in the background. Jerry Krause is the only guy, right? I don't think it's like that. Hey, if it's your team, because he owned that team, he owned the Sox, right? He's a powerful man.
That's the point I was just about to explain.
Go ahead, Briss.
Right, we can get mad at the front office for the evil things they do, right? But let's be honest. They're not the guys on the court. We all understand that. Jerry Krause's quote, right, is organizations are, not misquote it.
Hey, as he's looking for that, though, my final thoughts on the Pippen situation, because I don't think we really concluded that, was that I think, and you brought up a point, Dom, about Jordan. And I think Jordan could have had a bigger part.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, when the Heatles got together, some of those guys gave up money,
Yeah.
Together. You see it more often now. When KD came along, right, some of the guys from the Warriors, they got paid less. And they were cool with that, right? They appreciated their teammates. I don't think Jordan appreciated Pippen enough in that moment. At that day,
he was being stingy.
At that day and age, I don't think he appreciated him enough.
Because it wasn't like a Dame Lillard and CJ McCollum, where Lillard's up here, McCollum's down here. No, Pippen was like right here, Jordan's right here. Pippen was like top 5 players in the league or whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like he was a baller, and like that's messed up.
Yeah.
You have to think of it like this, though. We have to think of it in Jordan's mindset, right? This man is the most competitive person in the world. All he wanted to do was just win chips.
So did Pippen.
Without Pippen, though.
Hey, hold on.
Could he have won it? Did he win it without Pippen?
Hear me out. Right? You're already clicked in for the season, right? You're not going to care about anything else. You're just going to get yourself ready. I'm not saying it's right, but you have to think of, we hear the stories, right? How competitive, how focused, how determined this guy was to win a chip, right? No matter if he had anybody with him or not, or just to even get him.
Did he win it without him?
Hold on.
You're saying whether he has a guy or he doesn't have a guy. He didn't have the guy. He didn't win it.
Obviously, you're not listening to my mentality.
He's 50 on the Celtics. He couldn't win it.
Hold on. Obviously, I'm saying mentality. You missed that part. I'm talking about his mentality. I'm not saying what he did. I'm only talking about the mindset.
Okay.
Right? The mindset is all he cared about was eating, sleeping, and playing basketball to be the best person in the world and the best person in that sport at that time. Right? He was in the gym, doing what he had to do. The front office stuff, for him, has to probably be done in the off season, in his mindset, right? Because during the season, your only focus is basketball.
Right. No, I thought Jordan said, I think he said it too. Pippen had like the same mindset as him, which is why he liked him a lot. And I mean, Jordan can say you can say all that about Jordan, but what if he was put in that situation where he was cut and under getting paid? I'm sure he might get pissed off too. I don't know.
Right. But my thing is that it should have been done in the off season. Right? That's why they have 3 months or whatever they need to do.
But this isn't about that. It's not even about that.
No, yeah,
season.
It should have been done years ago when everyone was getting money.
Yeah, like after that three-peat, they could have done it.
Right.
After the first three-peat.
And
that year when Jordan retired and Pippen like was a straight baller and took over the Bulls team, like I mean, they should have given him money then too.
Yeah. Come on, bro. Look, all I'm saying is Pippen got played. Yes, he made the wrong choice at the time. He did it on himself, but you have to understand why he did it. It was to take care of his people, right? Once they started winning, he should have got paid. Another thing, I don't think Jordan did enough for him. Yeah, I think Jordan appreciates him now. Looking back at it, I don't think he appreciated him enough. That's all I have to say on that.
All right. Hey, Briss, go back to Krause. Let's go back to that quote you got. You got it?
Yeah. So Krause said, organizations win titles, not players.
I remember that.
Right? That's the most famous quote. He did come out later on in an interview saying that wasn't the official quote, although, let's be honest, it probably was. I mean,
come on, man. You know the media.
No, yeah. Well, I mean, he threw off that quote, and Krause had his ego. He did a good job putting together the team, all but he didn't get Jordan. Like, that was his thing. Like, he wasn't there when Jordan, what was his name? Bob Thorne or whatever got Jordan. But Krause did everything else to put the pieces together, and he won Executive of the Year twice. Like, isn't that enough recognition for you as a GM? Like, he wanted more, though. He wanted to be like, no, this is me. It was all me that did this, not you, Jordan. It wasn't you guys. This was me.
Let's put it like this. It was a battle of egos, right? Jordan wanted to be the battle of the ego of the player side, and Krause wanted to show that I put the people around you to make you who you are, right? And those things just keep battling for years. Now, my point here is there's some truth to it.
Keep going, Bruce. Bruce, I mean, not
Bruce.
Bruce Wayne.
You ain't Batman.
But
I'm just gonna say one thing real quick. I want to go back to what you're saying. Hey, at some point, can we talk about how Jordan was bullying Krause?
Oh yeah.
That
was messed up.
With the cameras on, go ahead, Bruce. Wait, we'll talk about this right now. I just wanted to lay that out there before we forgot about it.
But it was a battle of egos in that whole environment, that organization, right? But I think the best way to explain it is the way Jerry Krause thought of it, right? Organizations win championships, not players. We could say that today, right? In most cases, we can say that today, right? The organization's going to put players in place to win a championship. Toronto, they got their guy, won a championship 1 year, he moved on. We could say that for the Clippers or the Lakers this year, right? They got their players. They got the guys around them. They got a chance for a run.
The Warriors,
they got their guys. However, when you add Michael Jordan into the mix, I think it's a whole different thing. Now, do I think that mindset is wrong from Jerry Krause?
Is it completely wrong, though?
No.
Like,
I
heard what Jerry was saying, right? And I think it ultimately, look, I would say ultimately it comes down to the players, right? If they can't play, if they're not good enough, they're not going to win it, right?
Right.
But Krause had a whole lot to do with that. And I'm saying ultimately, like what Jordan was saying and this and that, I can give a little bit of leeway to Krause. Because without Pippen, without Grant, without some of these other guys that they picked up, Jordan would have just been that guy scoring 50 in the playoffs.
Yeah, and it was kind of messed up. Like, they're ranking on him. Jordan and Pippen, they said, like, and then Pippen went off on him in the bus, which I think nobody really cared. I was like, you know what? He kind of deserves that. But it was kind of – you kind of felt sorry for the dude, you know? Like, they were making fun of him. And I don't know how tall he is, but, I mean, compared to NBA players, everybody looks short, right? But I don't know his real height.
5'5" or something like that. He's like
5'5".
Something like that.
Yeah.
And, you know, at the end of the day, Jerry Reinsdorf is the one who – all these years, Krause is there. Like, if the owner didn't like what he was doing, his ego, he could have got rid of him. Like, I mean, he's to blame too, just as well, the owner.
Hey, I was just thinking that, Dom, right now. Like, we keep talking about Pippen, we keep talking about Jordan, we keep talking about Krause, and just how, like Bristol saying, they're battling, right? And
right.
the whole time our mind's away from this owner.
And he's the main one.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah.
Let me put it in the sports administration side, right? You got money, right? You're gonna put money into a team. You're gonna buy somebody. You're gonna pay somebody to do that job for that team, right? You just want income or in this case, championships, right? You're gonna buy the guy that's not gonna make friends, that's not gonna dilly-dally. He's gonna do the job. He's gonna get it done, and he's gonna win you chips.
Okay, I see that.
Does that make sense?
And that's what the owner. Don't get me wrong. The owner said he did that.
Right.
Yeah.
But can we even put him? I mean, he is to blame to some point. But let's be honest. At the end of the day, does he really have anything to do with that basketball organization? He's just paying people to find the people to win the chip.
Right. He's just delegating. Like he's just like he's just setting the pieces in play.
Look,
like Jordan said, overall it's the players and and the coach. They get all the recognition. Yeah, but Krause wanted the recognition.
Yeah. But you know what? I think at the end of the day, that owner, he was the CEO. He was delegating, but he was the CEO, and I think he was just hiding behind other pieces.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we put enough blame on him. I think he deserves more of a responsibility for what happened in that situation.
I don't, but it's hard to explain why I don't, because if you think of it from a business side, right, he is the owner. It's going to get evil like that, and you got to do what you got to do to make that team successful, to make more money.
No, bro, I know what you're saying. He was trying to keep his hands clean.
Right.
And he has, Like that
he did his job.
Kept
he was good at his job.
Because other people they're talking about Krause, they're talking about Jordan, they're talking about all that. And he's just kind of there. He still comes in the air. He has a little spotlight. He's making all that dough, but his hands are clean.
Let's put it like this. The running organization, right, we think of is probably from GM or president/president down to the players.
Yeah.
Right? Do we really consider owners part of the organization? If we just put it the way I explained it.
No, most cases you don't really hear about the owner. You don't really hear about the GM. All it is like you watching TV, you see the coach and the players.
The only NBA owner I know off the top of my head is Mark Cuban. Yeah, he's the only one.
What's the other guy from the Knicks?
That's because I'm watching Shark Tank, boy.
Hey, but you know what though? About the Bulls owner, hey man, that guy knew the coronavirus was coming 22 years ago. You know what? He's been practicing social distancing all along and staying away from everybody and from everything. He hasn't even put his hands on anything. He's just making that dough.
I like how me and Dom are just making the same face. Like, really, dude? Or did he freeze?
I think that fool froze.
Situation. Oh.
I'm gonna leave that in. That's hilarious.
I froze?
He froze at the perfect moment. I thought he was playing. I thought he was playing too.
We're gonna leave that in. That was great.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Are we live?
We can hear you, bro. It's cool. We can hear you.
Oh, all right. We had some technical difficulties. Sorry about that, guys. All right, guys. Let's switch gears for a little bit now. Let me hear your final thoughts before we switch it to the next topic. Josie, what you got? Final thoughts on Krause here? And management.
I think Krause takes a lot of heat, but he's not able to. We're not able to hear his side. I think the owner should have assumed a lot more responsibility than he did, or than what he showed in the documentary. But that's really it. Like I said earlier, that we're all human. We all make mistakes. One sec.
That's the ass management trying to call you right now, dude.
1 sec. I got management on the phone. Hold on.
Anyways.
There's Ryan's dope. Briss, what you got? Final thoughts, man.
First of all, we know ain't nobody calling this fool. And second of all, my final thoughts are just like, honestly, at the end of the day, these guys did their job, whether it was dirty, it was clean on their side. They did their job. They They did the dirty work for the people to say that they should look bad. Honestly, at the end of the day, you have to look at it like a business, right? You want to get the most money and get the best out of your money.
Right.
So, in my opinion, I think these guys are right and they're painting a bad picture, but unfortunately, that's the game that these guys play, right? You're not supposed to be the superhero. The players are. Owners and the hell is wrong with this fool? You see his face? Anyways.
No. At the end of the day, I kind of agree with you. At the end of the day, management did their job. They got the players in place to do what needed to be done to win this championships. But at the end of the day, I also think they kind of screwed Pippen over with the whole money management thing. Also, Phil Jackson, we didn't get a lot into that, but Phil Jackson was kind of screwed over a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't remember looking up any of the details that they actually compensated him. I don't think they did. That's why that was his
Phil
last
Jackson
year.
was $6 million for a 1-year contract.
Oh, okay.
For the final year, it didn't go into anything.
Right. But can we agree it was kind of messed up? Like, he's winning championships, and these other coaches he's beating are getting paid more than him. And I'm like, come on now.
How do you go and tell a coach that has won 5 championships that even if he wins 82,
right, like,
and not keep him?
If you're in an organization, why wouldn't you want to win more? In my head, it's Krause, probably his ego was like, you know what? I found you. I can easily put anybody else in there, and they're going to get the job done just as well. I think that was his ego saying that.
They said that. They said that in the documentary, is that they said something along the lines of Jerry Krause had the mindset of changing Phil Jackson, right? You can put anybody in that spot. However, he did later find out you can't. And I don't think you can. However, can he do it in the modern NBA? We don't know.
It all went to shit when Krause didn't invite him to the dang wedding.
Okay. Just like the owner, though, he said, I mean, it's kind of a blessing.
Yeah, he's like, it's a blessing. I wouldn't want to be going to no weddings anyways. But anyways,
that's pretty much it.
Let's switch it up. All right, well, everybody, looks like we got Josie back in the mix. I guess he must have got that important phone call from upper management. Josie, what are your final thoughts on the Bulls and management organization?
Hey, man, I'm sorry about that, guys, but the Bulls called me. They heard I was talking shit about the owner. And,
just like last week when Jalen Green gave you the hat, right?
Yeah. No, hey, I'm sorry I got connects like that. But they called me. They're like, hey, we hear you live on your podcast. You're talking smack about our owner. We try to hide him from all the lights. And now you're bringing all this trash talk to him and negative attention to him. They're threatening to sue me.
Bro, we're not live. We're not live. All right?
So we know you're lying. We know you're lying.
They're threatening. Bro, they're threatening to sue me. So, you know what? I'm just going to drop that topic. Let's move on because I don't want to talk about that Bulls owner anymore.
Wait.
I don't want that smoke.
Multi-million-dollar company.
Come on, let's go.
All right. I got this. I guess let's switch gears, guys. Let's switch it up. So, as you know, Michael Jordan was drafted in 1984. I think Reinsdorf, he didn't own the team yet, right? If I'm not correct.
I don't believe so.
He was, I think, because it's just started. Then he bought the team like around that time.
Actually, I believe it was before Jordan was drafted.
Before Jordan was drafted.
I believe it was the year of.
Anyways, but we know Krause is the other part of management that just came into the mix around that time. But let's get in Jordan, dude. Let's get into that. Like, I mean, we saw like from him in high school to college to the NBA, his rookie year, second year. I mean, Josie, let's start with you, man. Let's see what you got on that take.
Hey, man, you guys all, everybody know, we're not going to get into this discussion right now, but you all know that I think LeBron is the GOAT. I'm not trying to get
started with Briss first.
We're not getting to that discussion right now, but all I'm saying is, man, you got to give it to Jordan. You know, seeing all that background in him after I saw those 2 episodes, man, I went back and watched so much Jordan stuff on YouTube, so much, even more than I had already before, right? but just that mentality, like hearing him say it, like seeing hearing about his childhood, about the competition within his brothers, all that sort of stuff, and how he developed and the high school. I had heard about him not making the varsity team, right? I heard about some of those things, but when he got hurt, in his second year in the NBA, then he went back to North Carolina and was training, even though he wasn't supposed to, and all that. Man, that killer mentality. Yeah,
Risk reward.
Yep.
killer mentality. Yeah. Nobody, not even LeBron has that mentality. I won't take that from Jordan.
Right.
Nobody that I've seen in sports or heard about in sports has that killer mentality that he does. Yeah.
Hey, Briss, you mind if I cut in on and take this over real quick?
Go ahead. I want to
right.
see what you do with this.
So my whole mindset, I didn't watch Jordan. I didn't really watch YouTube videos. I just seen highlights. Everybody growing up, everyone's like, Jordan's the GOAT. I'm like, no, it's Kobe. That's my boy. Then you start seeing the comparisons. Kobe's just like Jordan. Then LeBron comes in. But seeing this, I got to give it up to Jordan, dude. I have to. I mean, Jordan is the greatest player of all time, in my opinion. He comes into the league. Well, no. First of all, he goes in to the NCAA, and his freshman year, they win the Natty, right? They win the national title, bro. And he's just dominating, changing the game. His work ethic is undeniable. On he didn't make the varsity team. I always thought, like, growing up, you hear coaches telling you that, well, Jordan didn't make the varsity team, so anybody can still come back. Well, back in the day, I think there wasn't freshman or JV. I think it was just varsity, if I'm not mistaken. There was only varsity in high school. There was no freshman or no JV. So that kind of, changes my mindset and the whole thing. And then going up to after college, he goes into the NBA, and he gets drafted by the Bulls, if you guys remember the documentary, they're being outshined by the indoor soccer team in Chicago. Yep. The Chicago Steam, the Bulls stunk, and they were a bunch of party animals. And Jordan comes in, and at that time in that era, it was a bigs dominant league. All these other bigs Jordan's cool, but he's not going to be able to lead a whole team. Well, he freaking took that sorry team to the playoffs his rookie year. Like, he changed the game, and he changed the whole. Everybody's mindset is like, you need a big to be dominant. No, Jordan came in. He said, I'm going to get this done. And then he did it again. His next year, he got injured. He was out for 64 games. He comes back. Well, that was a sorry way to make the playoffs. They made the playoffs with only 30 games won. So, I mean, they got lucky and they snuck in.
30-something, yeah.
30.
Around that.
Yeah.
Right.
There's some low number. You're right.
Right. And then he goes off on Larry Bird. He goes off on him, dude. I mean, Jordan's just – and then when he retired, after they did the first three-peat, he retired. They came back, and he just came in doing the same thing. They did another three-peat. I mean, come on now. I mean, Jordan, that's the GOAT. That's the GOAT. Briss, I know you're a big Jordan fan. What do you think, man?
I'm going to let Briss finish, then we got to go back to this. You guys wanted to talk about this. Now we're going to talk about it.
We're going this way. Go ahead.
No. Look, we're supposed to talk about Jordan, about this dog. We weren't supposed to talk about the GOAT conversation. You guys want to talk about it? We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
Throw it out there.
No, Briss, go ahead. Briss, go ahead.
Oh, man. Sit back down. Sit back in your chair right now. Because let me tell you what I've been telling you for the last 3 years that I've known you, right? No one has that type of mentality except for probably Kobe. I could say probably maybe one or two baseball players.
Who?
Hey, fuck
like
all that.
Yeah, wait, we ain't in baseball. Let's stick to the basketball now.
Hold on.
Stop. Just stop. Hey, just say nobody has that mentality other than Jordan. Like I said it. Nobody does. I don't want to talk about Kobe right now. I don't want to talk about your baseball players right now. We're talking about Jordan. Nobody else had that mentality besides him.
Remember, you finished? Or are you just gonna shut the hell?
Keep going. Go.
Jeez. Little man. Hey, calm down.
Go
back to your corner. All right.
Go.
Hey. Don't make me call the Bulls again so they can shut you up. Yeah.
All right, what you got, Briss? What you brought? How was your take? You're a big Jordan fan. How was your take on the whole docuseries?
Right? The top of the pinnacle is Jordan, right? We always compare it, right? There's greater guys before him, right? Bill Russell had 15.
You just said there's greater guys before him.
Great.
No, you said greater.
You did say greater.
Go ahead.
Greater, let me put it like this. Greater at that moment, right? Because nobody knew who Jordan was until after his era. Am I right on that part? Even through his era, right? You still had Magic. You still had Larry Bird.
And they're getting older.
Right, and they're getting older.
Older when he was going in.
They already had their established career. Let's put it like that.
Yeah, but get to your point.
The pinnacle of the greatest player of all time is Jordan because nobody can copy what he did. You can almost copy it.
Kobe almost copied it.
No, that's what I'm saying. You could almost copy it, right? But you can't ever do it.
I want to see your what's your opinion on, because I mean you that's your favorite player, Michael Jordan, but is there anything in the docuseries that you've never seen before or that you kind of admired?
Okay, let me put it like this. Jordan's my favorite player. I always said he's my favorite player for mentality, right? I have other favorite players for certain things. I don't look at a player just for the overall
stats.
Right. I look at the individual, right? Because if we go off of stats, literally, a lot of people can put up stats, right? But you can never put the same amount of impact.
What you're saying is like for your favorite player in terms of Jordan's mentality, he's your favorite. But like if like say like now like you have some guys that you like how they dish the ball, right? You have a different player for that, right? Like
right.
You have a different favorite player. You have a different favorite player that does different things.
Right. There's like let's put it like this. Overall personality, player, mentality, probably Jordan. Right? If we're talking like clutch, or if we're talking in the last minute, who's a dog, I might go with Kobe. Right? Because Jordan got it done throughout the game. Kobe got it done at the last minute of the last game of the last series. Does that make sense?
I'd say that's a little fair. I mean, Kobe was, I think, the most clutch player there was.
I'm not going to throw out the other guy's name.
You know what? It's already started. Let's get into it. We're going to this debate.
For that point,
Josie. Hold on, Josie's fired up right now. I'm gonna give him the spotlight right now. Let's go,
Josie. Hey, all I'm gonna say, no. Hey, Dom said I have a spot right now.
So you cut me off.
I'm just gonna correct you guys right now because you guys set me up for this perfectly. Look it up. I think 2-3 years ago in the playoffs, they were talking about most clutch player. The way that ESPN or whoever does those metrics for most clutch players, I think it's anything like last 10 seconds of the game or last 5 seconds, something like that, right? Last couple of seconds of the game, and then they look at that, and they look at all those people that have hit those shots, right? You know who led that list? Do you think it was Jordan? Do you think it was Kobe? Guess who it was? Guess who the most clutch player was?
Okay, say it.
LeBron. Look it up.
Okay, you're going into the analytics though, but did LeBron?
No.
He just did.
I'm not the one that started about this analytics. Did you or Briss not say that last shot, the last couple seconds of the game, right? Clutch.
Oh, that's fair. Okay.
Wait.
I brought it up because you guys brought it up. That's all I'm saying, right? I brought it up because you guys brought it up. I'm saying if you don't believe me, go look it up. LeBron is the most clutch player in the final seconds of a game. He's made the most shots in the final seconds of a game, more than Kobe and more than Jordan. Look it up. I'm just saying. All I'm saying, look it up. Second point. Briss also makes a good point, and this is my point. Like I said earlier, right? I'm giving due respect to Jordan. He's one of the greatest, but he's not the greatest player. LeBron is the greatest, and this is why. Jordan had the greatest mentality. Yes, I won't take that away from him. I don't think LeBron has that mentality sometimes, right? It irks me too as a big LeBron fan. It irks me, right? But you know what? Jordan he might be the best one-on-one scorer. Nobody could stop him, right?
Right.
All those players, And you know what? I also listened to a bunch of other players talk about all their Jordan stories. Nobody could guard him one-on-one, right? He was relentless. Like, just no scorer like him, right? He might be the greatest scorer of all time. He might have the greatest mentality of all time. But the greatest player? What makes a basketball player? This is what do you define as great, right? He won the chips, yes. Nobody can take that away from him. But there's a couple other guys that have more chips than he does. So it's not the
Bill
chips.
Russell.
It's not the chips. It's not the chips. So let's not bring up the chips.
Right. We
Right?
can't throw that in the mix.
Yeah, we can't. I'm saying I will give him maybe greatest scorer. I'll give him just relentless work ethic mentality, right? Nobody else has mentality like Michael Jordan. But player involves scoring, passing, rebound, defending, like all these other characteristics, right? You know who has all of that in one package at the highest level? That's LeBron. It's LeBron. That guy passes like magic, man. You see him this year? He was point guard. He was leading the league in assists. He could be the greatest point guard ever if he wanted to. He could have been. Listen to me. I'm saying player, right? Player encompasses more than
overall,
scoring.
Yeah.
Overall. He's played 1 through 5, man. I've seen him in NBA games. He's guarded 1 through 5. He's played 1 through 5. He's the greatest player of all time. I'm not saying he's winningest player. I'm not saying he has the greatest mentality of all time, but he's the greatest player of all time.
My thing is, I think mentality over dominates that, because how come Jordan did it every single year? He put on a show, and LeBron didn't. He didn't do that every single year. Like he was doing the resting, and I mean, Jordan took a sorry ass team to the playoffs. How come LeBron couldn't do that when he went to the Cavs his rookie year?
Bro,
how come he couldn't be taking the Cavs out there?
Bro, he did. He took him to the playoffs. Bro, he took a sorry-ass team to the NBA Finals. They got smacked.
That was a great year. That was his MVP year.
LeBron has done – he took his teams to the playoffs, and he did it with less, right? And he needed help to win a chip. Yes, he did, right, when he went to the Heat. You know
right. So did Jordan. So did Jordan,
man.
All right, Briss, chime in on this. What you got, man? What you got?
So I'm gonna break your spirits right now, Josie. How many times has LeBron said, "Let's run it again," for 5 times with the same guys and go get that same chip? Let's go run it again with the same guys. Oh wait, let me go call D Wade. Oh wait, let me go call Chris Bosh. Oh wait, let me go call Kyrie. Oh AD, where you at? Oh, how about let's run it again, Cleveland? Hey, help me get the right guys, right? I'm not saying him asking for the help is a bad thing, right? Everybody needs help. Basketball's a 5-player game. You got to win with 5 players.
Yeah.
Right? Why not run it with the same guys? That's my thing.
Okay, wait.
Wait.
How does that factor into the player? We're talking about a player, right? As a player, I'm talking.
No. We're talking about the greatest of all time, because as a player, they're both different. They play a different game, but the greatest of all time.
Greatest of all time. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we understand it's 2 different eras. We all understand that equally, right? It's 2 different eras. You're not going to compare the physical era of the 80s and the 90s, and you're not going to compare the transition of what LeBron went from kind of physical to basically three ball shooting right now.
Hey, look at LeBron, man. Tell me he could not have handled that physicality.
Honestly, I don't know.
He could have.
Look how big that man is.
Wait. Physically, we think yes, right? But after a while, how do we know? It's psychological when you take that many hits. It's hard. You got to have a strong mindset.
You remember Mass LeBron, don't you? The guy that went off on the Celtics?
Hold on.
Black Panther? Come on, man.
Right? But in other sports, you take punishment, right? And some guys don't respond, even if they are at the top of the game. Right? We just don't know. That's a factor that we can't factor in because they haven't done it. I'm not saying he couldn't have. I'm not saying he could.
Yeah.
There's just a factor that we don't know.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say is like, Dom, I get your point, right? The mentality factors in so much to it, right? Like I said, I give the mentality aspect of it, the mentality factor, I give it to Jordan. No doubt. You can't argue with that. There's been times when LeBron has not wanted to take over, right? Or I'm
Right.
saying that's how
But there's times where he
I'm
does
saying,
take over.
yeah,
There's times where he does, you know.
there's definitely times where he does. I'm saying is that man, he is he doesn't. This is where his mentality is different than Jordan. You know, as great as LeBron is, he is a team player first and foremost. He is. He's selfless. He should be more selfish, I think, at times. You know, it's irked me. It's cost him, right? Nobody can stop him going to the lane, especially a couple years ago, right? His mentality, but at the same time, I know that's how he was taught to play the game. He was taught to play the game the right way. If there's an open shooter, you know, you break the defense, you dish it out.
Right.
He looks for his guys, right?
But
No, yeah. LeBron, he's a great game manager, kind of like a quarterback, you know, in the NFL. He's a great quarterback, like on the court. This whole docuseries just changed my whole mindset on Jordan because I had no idea. Like, man, this is who Jordan was. So I mean, it kind of, I guess maybe it kind of threw me up there. You know, I was like, man, this guy's crazy.
I wanna let Britt speak because I know he has something to say. But I'm saying is like I give that mindset. I give it to Jordan. Yes, but because of everything that LeBron has done at every single position that he's played in, he's played all of them, 1 through 5. He's played all of them. He's the greatest.
Briss, what you got?
You know, you talk about passing, you talk about team player, right? We understand Jordan was the guy, right? But he has iconic passes too. He does know when to give it to the right guy. How else would we have known the Golden State Warriors coach, Steve Kerr? Right? Dishes it off to him in certain points of a game, gets him a bucket.
I love that quote. Steve Kerr says, like, well, I guess I got to bail Michael out again. That was funny. Right? I like that one.
Hey, and then they asked him in the documentary, they asked him, well, what's your guys' difference in mentality? And it's like, honestly, our mentality is the same. We just have Jordan. I mean, yeah. Have you heard anybody say that about LeBron? You know? Right.
So many of LeBron's teammates say they have LeBron, so yeah.
Have you
all right, guys.
I know what you're trying to say, but yeah, I got you.
All right, guys. I guess we could go on and on, but I mean, it seems like, you know, great scorer, Jordan. Great game management on the court. LeBron. I mean, they're two different players. They play different style of the game. It's kind of hard to, you know, it's always going to be up for debate who's the greatest of all time. Let's put it. All right, guys. I guess we can both agree. I mean, it's time to wrap this up. We could debate about this all day. Jordan, LeBron, you know, great players of all time. In general, both of them, they're both going to be up there at the top. Two very different players. The debates are going to continue to live on, but at the end of the day, you know, we came to talk about the Jordan docu-series. It's a great series, and I think that's a wrap up for today. So everybody out there, we're going to see you guys next week. We got another 2 Jordan episodes dropping this Sunday, and best believe we're going to go at it again, baby. That's it. We're out.
All right. Later, guys.
Peace.